Okay. So, my dearest students, welcome to your English class. So, good morning, Irene. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Mauricio. So, hey, I really like to mention all your names at the beginning of the class because this is like my attendance too. I really like to check again my classes in order to be sure that all the topics are clear in order to check my own mistakes too. So, good morning again, Irene, Jackie, and Mauricio. So if you remember or if you don't, we were talking about and discussing about the theories. We got the divine source, the natural sound source, the social interaction source, the physical adaptation source, the tool making source, and the genetic source. So please be ready because remember, I really like when my students participate in all the classes. So according to the divine source, it's basic that people in the ancients believed that the language is a gift from God. Why, teacher? As you see in the screen, in the biblical tradition, there is a man, there is an important man, well, there are many, but there is an important man that who was the first one that had the opportunity to write down in a rock, in a piece of rock. His name was Moses. So that's why people believe gods was the first sense that communicate with humans, that the name or that the context that is language is a gift from God. This is the divine source. So look again. In the biblical traditions, as described in the book of Genesis, I don't know if you like to read the Bible, but God created Adam and whatever Adam called every living creature that was the name of thereof. I don't know why, I don't know how Adam had that knowledge to give a name for every single animal. To be honest, I don't know. But the Hindu tradition says that language came from Sarabasti, wife of Brahma. This is an idol. This is an idol. And supposedly, according to the Hindu, is the creator of the universe. In most religions, there appears to be a divine source who provides humans with language. That is the divine source. There is not only one theory. There is not only one theory that language is a gift from God. According to the Hindu tradition, the language came from Sarabasti, in this case, wife of Brahman, that is an idol. That's why the name of the divine source. Some experiments were carried out to find the original God given a language. For example, I don't know if you had the opportunity to read the Genesis. The Genesis is a passage that is basic on the creation of humans, of the creations of animals. So, in the first paragraph, in the first text, in the first passage, they were talking about how people and how that kind of people that is Adam and Eva get a sense of the words. Supposedly, they don't have a knowledge about it because if you remember or if you don't have the idea what I'm talking about, there were two people at the beginning of the human source. For example, Adam was the first man and Eva was the first woman. Both have a, a kind of knowledge, but not in a 100% because if you remember or if you don't have the idea, at the beginning they were naked. So, according to the scenes, obviously in that part that most people say Adam and Eva weren't sinners, but they were because humans, as a human, as natural is, we are sinners. So in this case, the people believe that they were the first couple of human that had the opportunity to communicate, but maybe not using textual lyrics, not using a clearly language. Maybe they were communicating by sounds, but this is the divine source. But another beliefs and another theory is called that Moses was the first man who had the opportunity to and had the knowledge to how to write it down. Maybe will be will be really nice if I got the piece of rock and how to discover what kind of language What kind of language Moses used at that time? So many, many years ago, around 2,000 years ago, or more maybe. But that's why the name comes from the divine source. It's basic because people, according to their theories, language is a gift from God. Let's continue. There are many, many theories. Okay, the second, and today we are going to discuss the natural sounds or the Bull-Hole theory. What is the natural sound? According to the topic, it's a sound that comes from nature. Nature. If you see my screen, a quite different view of the beginnings of the language is based on the concept of imitation of natural sounds. This is important because it's not it's not happen just with the animals. It's not happening just with the animals, okay? They communicate using sounds, but it is also with humans too, because if you pay attention, when a baby born, they can't, he or she can't speak. So how would a baby communicate? For example, if a baby wants to go to sleep, he cries. If a baby hears something, he cries. If a baby is boring, he cries. If a baby is hungry, he cries. So they communicate using natural sounds. That is called the Bull theory. So this leads to the idea that pre-beats were derived from imitation of natural sounds that early men and women hear around them. Maybe that happened with Eva and Adam because they heard around them some sounds, and maybe I'm not sure, maybe this is my theory, maybe learn how to communicate using sounds, because in the previous decades, obviously we don't have books. So in the third one, this view is called the Bull theory. Number four, it is also being suggested that the original sounds of language may have come from natural cries, other emotions such as pain, anger, and joy. That's what I explaining a few minutes ago. When a baby wants to communicate, obviously he or she cannot speak, so they use crying. They used to cry. Okay, they communicate by crying. So, and what happened with his or her mom and dad? It's not necessary to have a Creole language because you understand. You understand, but this is the natural sounds, porque hay otra que es la forma física como nosotros nos comunicamos. But could you please, I got a video related to the natural sounds, and could you please, before to start, it is really important because there are many theories. We got almost 6 theories about how language is created, but it is important to note first, according to the theories, I'm not talking about religions. I'm not talking about religion, but it is important to read about another theories. I got my own, you got your own, but it is really important to see how people describe humans' origins. So before to continue with the class, could you please pay attention to this video because it's really important.
Millions of years before industry, agriculture, and civilization, the world stage was set for one creature's unprecedented rise. The story of humanity's evolution began about 7 million years ago, when the human lineage broke away from that of chimpanzees. Over time, an ensemble cast of over 20 early human species, or hominins, came to the fore. Most became extinct, while others might have been ancestors to today's humans. Each species exhibited varying degrees of human-like physical and behavioral traits, such as large brains, small teeth, bipedality, and tool use. These hominins fell into 3 major groups: early hominins, Australopithecines, and Homo genus. Humanity's earliest relatives lived between 7 and 4.4 million years ago in Africa. Having most recently shared a common ancestor with chimpanzees, they had many ape-like traits, such as a small cranial capacity. However, fossils show that some ancient hominins were also beginning to show human-like characteristics, such as small canines that were likely used more for eating and not for hunting or fighting. The next phase of hominin evolution involved primates called Australopithecines. They lived between 4.4 and 1.4 million years ago across the African continent. Like their ancient brethren, Australopithecines had some ape-like traits. However, changes in the skull, spine, and legs indicate a notable shift toward a very human-like trait, consistent bipedal locomotion. The third and current phase of human evolution involves members of the genus Homo. The earliest Homo species likely date to more than 2 million years ago, making them a contemporary of some Australopithecines. But unlike earlier hominins, who exhibited a mosaic of ape and human-like traits, Homo species were becoming distinctly more human. Their cranial capacity was growing larger than any other hominins. They developed sophisticated stone tool technology, and they became the first to control fire. These physical and behavioral adaptations, along with advancements in technology, allowed some Homo species to be the first to migrate out of Africa and explore the rest.
This is a theory based on humans' beliefs. But if you go to the part of the spiritual theories, because if you see in the video, they said they were the first that controlled the fire. But if you go, because maybe it will be, this is a debate, maybe a topic debate. If you go to the Bible, we got Adam and we got Eva, and maybe this is my point of view, and maybe they were the first people that had the opportunity to control the fire. So we got two theories. Which one is the correct one? It depends on you. Okay, it depends on you. This is just a history.
Of the world. While a cast of over 20 hominin species have walked this earth, only one remains. Homo sapiens, shaped by millions of years of evolution, embarked on a journey of exploration and industry its ancestors could have only dreamed.
Okay, any comment, guys? The divine source and the natural sounds. Excuse me. The divine source and the natural sound. Any comment? Everything is clear? Any question? Because be sure this topic is going to be included in your parcial. Please.
Sure, I have a
Yes.
question.
Please.
And this natural sound source, it is not just animals. It can be, for example, the rain or the wind.
Yes, of course, because for example, I don't know if you, but in my case, yes. When it's raining, the sound of the rain makes me feel relaxed. So affect to me in a good way because I really like to see when it's raining. So, but it is include also with the sounds. For example, when you hear something, yes, it is. And also at the beginning, en lo que pasó con Jackie, at the beginning, we were talking about the natural sound, just imitating of the natural sounds. But it is also not just for animals, it is also for people too. How people communicate using sounds. E incluso cuando nosotros los salvadoreños le queremos llamar, venga, vea, o sea, todo aplica, todo viene de una tradición, todo viene en este caso, todo todo se envuelve, o sea, desde los previous decades hasta ahora que nosotros, o sea, todo es un conjunto de. Jackie, please.
Okay. The natural sound source is the same that vowel theory.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Obviously,
And
yes, it is. Yes, of course. So, teacher, lo que pasa es que miren, usted en la diapositiva que nos puso, teníamos the divine source, the natural, yes, pero o sea, por ejemplo, se le llama the natural sound source o se le llama del Bull theory.
yes, I remember that you play a video yesterday about the vowel theory.
Yes, but it is the same. You can call it the natural
It is the
sound
same.
source. Yes, it is. Yes, totally, 100%. Yes.
And
Yes.
this source has to be with the evolution.
All the theories are related with the evolution of the human origins. All the theories, yes. Now we are going to discuss, for example, the first theory is the divine, that people believes that God give us a gift to communicate, okay? The second theory is the natural sound. So it depends, because if you remember what I said few seconds ago, teacher, which one is the correct theory? It depends of you. Maybe. Why, teacher? Because some people don't. Some people don't believe in God. That's why I said, because I respect. That's why I said it depends on you. It depends on your aunt. Teacher, I don't believe in God, so for me, I'm comes from the monkeys, from the chimpanzee. Ok, excelente. Si usted considera que usted viene del monito, I respect. Ok. Saben que cuando yo llevé esa materia en la universidad, yo sí tuve un catedrático que no creía en Dios. No, hombre, hicimos un debate entre todos, porque obviamente él nos metía y él nos imponía, no sé si así se dice, que nosotros, que los humanos veníamos de los monos y que no sé qué. Entonces, en mi caso, obviamente, yo no les voy a decir eso porque, primero que nada, yo sí creo en Dios, ¿verdad? Pero aunque yo crea en Dios y de repente alguno de ustedes me puede decir, teacher, yo no creo en Dios, no voy a hacer lo contrario de, no, mira, que nosotros y que Dios aquí. No, yo respeto lo mismo a usted. En el futuro, cuando a usted le toque dar esa materia, usted tiene que respetar el punto de vista. No se tiene que enojar si la persona cree o no cree. ¿Ok? Porque, como dije anteriormente, this is just history. This is just history. But yes, the natural sounds, we can call that, or we can call it Bohu theory. It is the same, 100%. Another question, please. Everything is clear? Mm-hmm.
For me, so far, yes, it's clear.
Okay, yes, it is. So the divine is language is a gift from God. Por eso se los puse ahí en bold, o sea, se los puse en negrita para que usted capte la idea. Language is a gift from God. And natural sounds, por eso se los puse en negrita, para que usted relacione que es la misma teoría. Usted le puede llamar Boho theory o natural sounds. Okay, no more questions. Oops, let's continue. The social interaction source, o se le puede llamar Yu-Gi-Oh theory. Maybe yesterday, yo creo que algunos de ustedes ayer les dio pena. You were shy to asking to me, teacher, but in the previous we got the social interaction. Pero usted ahí nos puso un video que hablaba del Yu-Gi-Oh. Y o sea, ¿qué onda ahí, teacher? Nadie me preguntó, pero yo sí sentí que tenían esa duda. Pero ahora se las explico. We can call it the social interaction source, or we can call it Yu-Gi-Oh theory. What is the Yu-Gi-Oh theory? The Yu-Gi-Oh theory idea is that the sounds of a person involve physical effort. This is represent when it's not necessary to communicate using a textual language. It's just when I see to all of you, maybe when it represents also when in the way you are sitting on. in your tone of voice, when you snore. Okay, it's not necessary to guess how do you feel today, if your emotions are on or if your emotions are off. It's just seeing your physical. Got it? Involving physical effort could be the source of our language, especially when that physical effort involves several people and the interaction had to be coordinated. The development of human language in a social context, groups are necessarily social organized, and to maintain those organizations, some communication is required. If it is just grunting and curses, it is very simple to understand. The Yu-Gi-Oh theory is when people don't need to communicate or don't need to mention or don't have the necessity to say how we feel today in the morning. Okay, yes, now we are in virtual classes. We are virtual classes, but I mean, cuando usted bosteza, your horns, okay, it represents or means that you want to go to sleep, or maybe you're tired, or maybe you're boring, or maybe you're hungry. That's the social interaction. So the Yu-Gi-Oh theory, it is a physical communication. Okay. In the case of the social interaction source, this is obviously happen when we are in groups. Okay, when we are in groups, involves several people, that interaction had to be coordinated. Okay, so in this case, teacher, we can we have a relation between the Yu-Gi-Oh and can we adapt into the beginnings of when a baby born, for example? Yes, of course. Yes, of course. The physical appearance in the social interaction source, that there is the Yu-Gi-Oh theory. In the physical, people show how they feel according to their physical effort. It is basic on that. It is basic on that. Okay, don't get stressed, don't get confused, because yes, we got sounds, yes it is, but yes we got, but it is more adaptable with physical emotions, physical emotions. O sea, cuando nosotros ya tenemos experiencia, es súper fácil identificar. It's very easy to identify how your students are on. If their feelings are off, if their feelings are on, if they want to switch off, it is very easy to identify according to the physical effort. That is the social interaction source, or the Yu-Gi-Oh theory. We got sounds, yes, we got sound, but it is not. It is not the base. The base is the physical interaction. Got it or not? Comments?
Yes.
Yes,
Comments?
teacher, maybe
Okay.
this one has to be with another people and the other just one person.
Repeat it again, please, Jackie.
Okay, this theory has to be with a group of people, right? And
Uh-huh.
the another one is just someone.
Yes, of course. So the social interactions, how people communicate with other according to the physical. According to the physical. Yes, Irene, please. Por cierto, para los que ingresaron un poquito tarde, ya les voy a dar una indicación que me mandaron de rectoría. Yes, thank you, Irene.
Okay, I understood that the natural sound source is when it is related with the sound. In the case of the social interaction source, it say that it involves the sound, but in this case, in the social interaction source, it mentioned that it is physical when it is like when you are face to face with someone.
Or in groups. For example, when you are participating in front of an audience, It's not necessary to mention if you are nervous. Just look in your body. Just look in your body. ¿Se han fijado que la gente cuando hablan en frente de la audiencia o en frente de un público en específico, la mayoría tiende a hacer esto? Voy a encender la cámara. La mayoría tiende a hacer esto. Se están hablando con las manos abajo, ¿verdad? Pero están hablando y están haciendo esto. O hacen esto. O sea, it's not necessary to mention, hey, I'm nervous. Yes, it's not necessary. I'm looking at you. Okay? So that is the social interaction. That is the Yu-Gi-Oh theory. Physical interactions. Okay? So another question, Irene? So social interaction source is an explanation. Pay attention to this one. It's an explanation and emphasize of the physical linguistic. Podemos tener una comunicación lingüística por medio de nuestro cuerpo. Yes, of course. Okay. That is the linguistic involve all grammar, phonemes, etc. But we can have, don't get stressed, I'm trying to explain the Yu-Gi-Oh is based on your physical. As I said few seconds ago, it's not necessary to tell teacher I'm nervous. I know you are because you look nervous. Got it, guys? Any question?
Yes.
Thank you.
No,
Okay.
no.
Excellent. Nice. So let's continue. The physical adaptation source. Aquí ya no vamos a hablar tanto de tanto de los idiomas, que los sonidos, que la forma física, como la gente se puede comunicar. O sea, aquí vamos a hablar, en este caso, vamos a volver a la teoría, ¿verdad? A la teoría del mono, ¿verdad? Por decirlo así. The physical adaptation source. Humans possess physical features that are distinct from other creatures, which may have been able to support speech production. Example, our ancestors made a very significant transition to an upright posture with bipedal on the 2 feet locomotion. The reconstructed vocal tract of the Neanderthals suggests that some consonant-like sounds distinctions would have been possible. This is just a theory. Adaptation of some organs which appear to be relevant for speech. For example, teeth, lips, mouth, larynx, and pharynx. So I got a video in order to be more clear about it. So now let's see. Oops, vamos a poner the social interaction. Okay. Could you please, my dearest students, pay attention to this video, because this is about the theory of humans. The theory of humans, where you and where I'm conference to according to the theory. So please pay attention.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. May peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah the Almighty be upon all of you. I am Umar ibn Abid, and today's our lecture is.
I'm so sorry. Believe me, I was trying to look for another kind of video because I don't like the tone of voice. Maybe this is from India, but I don't like it. It is really clear. It's very easy to understand, but I don't like the voice. So I'm so sorry.
The social interaction source. And the social interaction source is also considered to be one of the influential source of the origins of language. So what's the basic idea? So the basic idea is that early human beings must live in social groups for protection and would have developed some principles for communication. It is understood man cannot live alone. A man always need someone to share, and we live in a society, and the basic form and the basic purpose of human life is to live in a society. For example, a husband and a wife, and then the society starts. And the man was also sent to the earth in a couple, not a single one. So we live in societies. So when you live in society, so you must have to interact, you must have to communicate, to share your feelings, to share your thoughts, etc. So therefore it is considered to be one of the influential source. So for example, they give the reasons who believe that social interaction source is the most influential, or could be the source of the origins of language. That for example, grunts, groans, and curses and such sounds, in which there is physical activities, combined physical activities. For example, to carry a wood, to carry some heavy stones, so they must work in groups. So therefore they have some shared principles to communicate. And for example, when you lift up a heavy thing, so you produce sounds like these sounds. So these could be the source for the origins of language. So this is all about social interaction source, that uh, to work, when they try to work in a group, so they must have some communication, they must have some principles to communicate, and they must share some sounds to communicate with each other. And these could be the source, grants, or the basic sounds through which language could be originated. Otherwise there could be other things as well. So now what's the problem in this theory? We could see, and we often see, that early primates and other animals, and even animals, have stronger social groups as compared to humans. For example, if I am living with my family, I may go to another country, so I have not as much stronger social group as compared to animals. So animals also have uh, social groups, and very stronger social groups, but animals could not produce language like human beings. So this is the main conflict in this theory. If the social interaction source is really the source for the origins of language, then animals must have been acquired uh, the same capacity as we have to to speak in a language and to communicate with language. And what we can do with language, animals must should do the same thing with language, but it is not possible, and we could not see animals in such a way. So this is the social interaction source. I hope you would have understood it.
Okay, this is, excuse me, this is the, let me try, because I got a bit related with this one. Okay, could you please give us some seconds? Ok, en lo que busco eso, porque sí tenía aquí este. Señores, para los que ingresaron un poquito tarde, el día de ahora vamos a terminar nuestra jornada a las 8:45. Ok, no lo tengo acá. Ok, vamos a terminar nuestra jornada a las de Physical Adaptation Source. A las 8:45, porque ustedes tienen una reunión, chicos, con con rectoría, pues va, con rectoría. ¿De qué trata la reunión? No sé, solamente me pasaron el detalle nada más, el detalle de la reunión, así que a las 8:45 yo les voy a mandar ahí el link, porque me dijo el rector que me iba a mandar el link a las 8:45 o a las 9 de la mañana. Tengo entendido que es con proyección social también. Ok, ¿preguntas, dudas? Physical Adaptation Source.
No.
Sí, hombre, me quitaron una hora con ustedes. Créanme que, pero bueno, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Más que mañana no tenemos clase, el viernes tenemos solo didáctica. Ok, pero mi modo, vamos a ver, aquí está, creo que es este. Permita, ya les comparto pantalla. Saben de que de la teoría de Physical Adaptation no hay un video claro. Y ahora veo por qué. Ahora veo
Teacher,
por
the
qué.
physical adaptation is the same like the evolutionary. No, it's older.
It's a part of. It's a part of. It's a part of. For example, we got the divine source, 1, the natural sounds, number 2, the social interaction, or Yu-Gi-Oh, 3, and the physical adaptation source, 4. Lo que pasa es que cuando estábamos viendo la parte divina, metí cuando la gente dice, ¿verdad? Porque, por ejemplo, acuérdate que mencionaba lo de los hindú, la tradición de los hindús, que ellos piensan que el lenguaje viene de la esposa que se llama Sarabasti, que es la esposa de Brahman, que supuestamente para los hindú, Brahman, en este caso, es el creador del universo. Entonces, pero por eso ahí fue que mencioné la parte del chimpancé, los monos, pero en realidad eso se mira en el caso de The Physical Adaptation Source. Y fíjense que, perdón, aquí les estoy buscando la información, pero fíjense que hay un video, pero permítanme. Pero el acento de él es el que no me gusta. Ok, vamos con este, se los voy a poner unos 5 minutos nada más. Ok, ya les comparto ahí, ya les comparto. Me gusta soportar mis ideas con videos, ¿ok? Por eso es que lo hago, me gusta soportar las ideas con videos. Aparte de que se discuten, se explican, me gusta soportar mis ideas con los videos. Ok, so voy a poner 5 minutos nada más porque dura 16 esta teoría. Obviamente dura, yo siento que, o sea, dura tanto porque obviamente aquí ya habla de la creación del hombre acorde a la teoría de ellos. Acorde a la teoría de ellos. Hay muchas teorías. Por ejemplo, la de hindú, como decíamos antes, de Brahman. According to the Hindus, so they believe Brahman is the father of the creation, is the father of the universe, but just theories, okay? Just theories. Please pay attention.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, may peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah the Almighty be upon all of you. I am Umar ibn Abid, and in this lecture we are going to look at the physical adaptation source of language. This is also one of the influential source of the origins of language. And as the name suggests, the physical adaptation source means that we are going to look at the physical structure, the physical posture, and especially the vocal tract of human beings as compared to other animals. So in last lectures we were looking at human speech sounds and how they differs from other human beings, and how they tried to imitate the sounds of creatures around them, or they tried to produce some sounds and some words with the tools, or maybe with communication, or with sounds such as exclamation or happiness and such sounds. But now we are going to look at the physical adaptation source. That is, we are going to look at physical features human possess, especially those which are different from other living beings. And as we know, we are different from other living beings, even from other mammals, not in our sexual reproductive system, but in our vocal tract, especially, which make us different and which make us able to produce speech. So the change between human and other primates could be observed when we found the fossils of a Neanderthal and of a gorilla almost 35,000 years ago. You know, Neanderthal is considered to be the Homo sapien, and actually the evolutionary Homo sapien. It is considered to be. It is even this is not, you can say, proved by facts, because you know Darwin theory is just a theory. It is not a law, but by the fossils it is come to know that even these Neanderthal have similar structure like today we human being have. So these distinctions suggest that Neanderthals possessed such physical features which could be able to produce some consonant like sounds as we are producing consonant sound like b, k, t, m. On the other hand, primates' streamlined versions of features were not appropriate to produce such sounds. You know, the pharynx, as we will look in some pictures in other slides that they have different pharynx and larynx position, due to which they cannot produce such sounds. So now we are going to look at qualities of human teeth, lips, mouth, larynx and pharynx, which makes us different from other creatures. So human teeth. Human teeth are upright, non-slanting, unlike apes. If you see we human beings, our teeth are like this, just like you can say at 90 degree. On the other hand, if you look at monkeys on and gorillas, so their teeth are, you can say, it doesn't mean their teeth are also right, but they are just outside, and they are just coming outside of their mouth. So
Sounds not important, but yes it is, because look at this one. Remember, those topics are confirmed for the CAP exam, okay? So this is a part of your specialization, excuse me. So it is important because in your CAP they are going to ask you about the articulations. Why do we use the palatal to pronounce something? Why do we use the pylorus to mention or to pronounce something? So that is important because as an English teacher, you have to identify it, okay? So please.
you can see that when they open their mouth, so their teeth are just at, you can say, 60 or 70 degree angle, and our teeth are roughly even in height as compared to apes. Moreover, useful for producing sounds like f and v. You know, when you produce f, so your upper teeth touch on your lower lip, and when you produce v, once again your upper teeth will touch on your lower lip. So these are also not good for ripping and tearing, but rather better for chewing and grinding. Unlike other primates, their teeth are for ripping and tearing. On the other hand, our teeth are for chewing and grinding. So now if I show you human teeth.
When I was a student, I'd write long essays that I'd work on for days, but now I'm writing short
So these are the human teeth. So you can see the difference uh, upright, and what I was saying that actually at 90 degree. On the other hand, because this is just a 3D picture, and these teeth are not of a gorilla or monkey, because gorilla and monkey, they only eat fruits and vegetables. So all the teeth of gorillas, monkeys and such primates are in this way only.
That's why people who believe in God, they said we don't come from monkeys. According to the articulations, if you see, it's totally completely different. Okay, but maybe that kind, or maybe that theory that is humans comes from the monkey, or the creation of these theories based on that we look like them. As I said yesterday, yes, well, we got arms, we got feet, we got legs, we got a brain, etc. But they just imitate. They just imitate. Nowadays, even thought about those theories, they can't. They can't communicate. If you go to the zoo, if you got the opportunity to see a monkey, they or a chimpanzee, they just imitate, okay? But they cannot communicate at all, okay? Maybe using sounds, maybe using the physical interaction, but they cannot produce a word. And look at why. Yes, we look like them, but not at all. Not at all.
In we can say, we say these teeth as scissors. They all have scissor teeth. They don't have such teeth. And now if you consider this to be the teeth of, you can say, lion, so even then you can see that all these are pointing teeth. There is no one a teeth like us which are scissors, but we on the other hand we have both these teeth which are called canines and scissors. On the other hand, animals, all the animals, some of them only have such teeth are in canine form, in pointing teeth. On the other hand, like monkeys and gorillas, all of them have only scissors, they don't have canines. So this structure also help us to eat vegetables as well as meat, also both things, we can eat both things. But on the other hand, animals, some animals only could eat meat and such like things. On the other hand, there are some animals like monkeys and gorillas, they can only eat fruits and vegetables because their teeth are not adapted and are not shaped in this way. So this is the benefit we also have on the other creatures.
And that's another difference. If you give a banana to a chimpanzee, they can eat it. But if you give a lollipop, yes, they can eat it. But there are some kind of foods that they can't. They can't. So that is another difference between chimpanzees and humans. Okay, chimpanzees and humans. So, any question, guys, about it? Any question? Any comment? Look at the boy. Look at the man. Looks like. Okay, so thank you so much. Let's continue. Oops, look at this one. According to the video, we were talking about the teeth, lips, mouth, larynx, and pharynx. Number one, I'm going to ask you to all of you to help me to read because you must participate too. You must
Me.
participate. Thank you, Mauri.
Okay, the first one.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Human teeth, besides of grinding and chewing food, they are useful in making sounds, such as F.
F. Thank you. Second.
Okay. Human lips, they have more intricate, detailed muscle interlacing than is found in other primates, and the resulting flexibility certainly helps in making sounds like P or B.
Or B. Human.
Okay, I continue.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Oh,
Human.
oh,
Yeah.
no. Okay. Human mouth. It can be opened and closed rapidly and contains a smaller, thicker, and more muscular tongue, which can be used to shape a wide variety of sounds inside the oral cavity. The human larynx or voice box. It contains the vocal folds and differs in position from the larynx of other primates such as monkeys. Pharynx. It acts as a resonator for increased range and clarity of the sounds produced via the larynx and the vocal tract. In evolutionary terms, there must have been a big advantage in getting this extra vocal power, larger range of sound distinctions, to outweigh the potential disadvantage from an increased risk of choking to death.
Excellent. Thank you so